from the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day, this is Dateline Malacañang, and here are the news. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. ordered the Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH, to craft a plan for the construction of a new 4-story building to replace the fire-damaged building of San Francisco High School in Quezon City.
Wala talagang sabi ng fire prevention kahit talagang hindi na pwede itong building na ito. But in the meantime, mukha namang nakapag-adjust ng yung ating school administration. Nakapag-adjust sila, hindi sila nag-suspend ng klase, naglipat-lipat lang. So now, we must look to the reconstruction nitong nasira dahil kahit na sa labas makita niyo structurally mukhang hindi na maaasahan yung mga siyempre yung mga structure dito kaya kailangan talagang gibayin. Buti lang hindi inabot yung katabi na building na within 30 minutes naman yung ating mga bumbero within 30 minutes na wala na yung apoy, pero it happened on Sunday morning. Kaya as usual, electrical na naman ang naging problema. Kaya yun ang kailangan natin bantayan. Siguro we have to send out, we have to also, dahil ang mga school room natin, ang mga school building natin, mga school facilities natin, medyo luma na rin. Yung sa electrical, kinakargahan na natin ng computer, ng bagong fan, yung iba aircon, kaya talagang overloaded na, kaya nagkakaganto. Kaya siguro we have to look at the other schools also, na tiyakin na at the very least may magandang fuse box para hindi makapag-overload sa ating electrical systems.
President Marcos also vowed that the teaching materials and equipment destroyed by the fire would be replaced.
But in the meantime, Public Works has already been, of course, I already instructed the Public Works, the Department of Public Works and Highways, na tignan nila and what will it take, how soon can we rebuild it. Ang plano yata, ito 2 stories, gagawing 4 stories, tapos mga ibang facilities na kailangan. So, in a way, it's an opportunity for us to upgrade the building. It's unfortunate that it had to have happened because of a fire. Pero hopefully, pagbigyan na tayo dahil umuulan na, hindi naman maging masyadong madalas ang ganyang klaseng sunog. But yes, we'll just keep going. We'll just continue to make sure that the children are able to attend class, that the teachers have what they want. Yung mga nasirang gamit, we will replace it. School supplies, not only of the children, but also the teachers.
The building, constructed in 1980, will have to be demolished to build a new 4-story one, which will cost around 180 million pesos. Department of Education, or DepEd Secretary Sunny Angara told reporters, citing the recommendation of the DPWH. Angara said the new building could serve around 1,500 students. Marisa Lu Rodriguez, the school principal, said the estimated total loss due to the fire amounted to 3 million pesos. Rodriguez added that investigation is ongoing to determine the cause of fire. Rodriguez said the school received immediate assistance from the DepEd and Quezon City government, deploying chairs, computers, and other equipment needed to ensure uninterrupted school activities. She said senior high school students are holding classes in 2 shifts to accommodate the displaced junior high school students.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has expressed his intent to sustain the pesos per kilogram rice program under the Benteng Bigas Meron Na or BBM na without the contribution of the local government units or LGUs. The national government is collaborating with LGUs to sustain and expand the BBM na program. President Marcos said that to date, the government is providing rice supply that is sufficient for 51% of the country's population. He said he is optimistic to increase the number of Filipinos who can purchase the cheaper rice. President Marcos vowed to provide machinery to farmers and improved irrigation in an effort to boost the rice production. In May, President Marcos said negotiations with other countries are underway to keep the price of rice more affordable until the end of his term in 2028. The Department of Agriculture is refining the logistics framework as it expands the Affordable Rice Initiative to better serve the beneficiaries. The cheaper rice is now available in 123 sites nationwide, including 88 Kadiwa ng Pangulo centers, kiosks, stalls in public markets, local government units, and other agencies.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang called on the Senate to consider the potential impact of the delays in the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte on the Philippine economy. In a press briefing, Palace Press Officer and Presidential Communications Undersecretary Claire Castro said, "It is alarming that the business sector has already issued a warning that failure to uphold rule of law could affect investor confidence in the long term." Castro said government efforts to improve the economy would just go to waste if the inaction on Duterte's impeachment complaint continues. She said the Senate, sitting as an impeachment court, must also take into account the investors' concerns.
Okay, mismong nasa business sector na po ang naaalarma sa nangyayari dito sa Senado patungkol po sa impeachment trial. At hindi po talaga na naisin na makapag-invest, na maa-alerto po talaga mga investors natin kung may issue po at inaakusahan ng isang leader ng korupsyon at mukhang nakakampihan pa ng ibang senator judges. So nakakaalarma po ito dahil gumaganda po ang takbo ng ekonomiya ng bansa. Taliwas po ito sa sinabi ng Vice Presidente na bagsak ang ekonomiya. Tandaan po natin, natanggal na po ang Pilipinas dito sa Financial Action Task Force Gray List na nakapagbigay po ng mataas na investor confidence sa bansa nito lamang taon. At sinabi rin po ng ADB na na-maintain po ng Pilipinas ang napakaganda pong economic outlook for 2025. So nakakahinayang po kung ang ekonomiya natin ay maapektuhan ng dahil lang po sa nangyayari sa Senado. So, ang panawagan lang din po natin sa Senado patungkol po sa impeachment trial, hindi naman po para pabilisin o manghimasok tayo sa ginagawang impeachment trial, kundi sundin lamang po ang konstitusyon at ang rule of law.
Castro also maintained that the executive branch would not meddle in the impeachment process. The Makati Business Club earlier urged the Senate to fulfill its constitutional duty by proceeding with the impeachment trial. Last week, Castro stressed the importance of lawmakers' neutrality in handling the impeachment case of Duterte, as she cited her observation that some of the senator judges had shown their biases when the Senate convened as an impeachment court.
Dateline Malacañang.
We are temporarily interrupting our news broadcast for Dateline Malacañang to give way to a presidential coverage. Let us listen to the message of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. as he leads the launching of PhilHealth's new benefits for post-kidney transplantation services at the National Kidney and Transplant Institute or NKTI in Diliman, Quezon City.
Mula sa Presidential Communications Office at Radyo Pilipinas, ito ang Presidential Live Event. Presidential Live Event.
Samang Alvin? Samang Alvin, konting pihit lang po ah. Kasamang Alvin.
Okay, we're having a technical difficulty with the presidential live coverage. In the meantime, we'll have to be back at the Dateline news broadcast. Malacañang announced that the government is increasing measures to prepare for flooding and other rainy season dangers. This includes ongoing infrastructure improvements and agency coordination. Presidential Communications Office Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said that the Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH, is still building flood prevention projects throughout the country.
Sinabi naman po at siniguro ni DPWH Secretary Bonoan na sinisimulan po nila ang pag-construct itong mga projects po para sa flood control at matagal na po kasi itong direktiba ng Pangulo. At marami na rin po sila nagawa at natapos na mga proyekto para po maibsan ang problema sa baha. Nandito na po ang nagawa na po nila yung 2,339.73 square meter concrete slope protection sa kahabaan ng Bagak Mariveles Road in Batasan. And at the same time, sinabi rin po niya na nag-develop na rin po sila ng master plan for each of the 18 major river basins. So, kanya-kanya pong master plan po ito according to specific characteristics at ang pangangailangan ng bawat area. So, asahan po natin at maging lagi tayong handa sa pagbaha. Although, hindi natin masasabing 100% agad na mababawasan ng pagbaba sa ating bansa, pero patuloy pa rin po ang pagsasagawa ng DPWH para po maibsan ang problema rito.
Castro noted that one of the finished projects is the 2,339.73 square meter concrete slope protection along the Bagak Mariveles Road in Bataan Province. The Philippines, a disaster-prone country with approximately 20 typhoons each year, is regularly threatened by flooding, particularly in urban and low-lying areas. Castro also mentioned that the Department of Science and Technology has created a centralized alert system that allows the public to receive urgent weather advisories. Meanwhile, the Department of Agriculture stated that it is prepared to ensure food security by providing a consistent supply of rice. She went on to say that the Department of Social Welfare and Development is ready to implement food programs, and the Department of Health is also prepared to respond to seasonal illnesses like dengue and leptospirosis. The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration, the country's weather office, has officially announced the start of the rainy season on June 2.
Patungkol naman po sa DOST, ay meron po silang theme, meron po silang nilaunch, kahandaan sa bagyo at baha, solusyon sa ligtas na bayan. So, nagkaroon po ng kick-off celebrity FAW celebration, ang DOST, Pag-asa. Nirelaunch nila ang National Hydromet Observing Network interactive platform at ang centralized alert system kung saan maaari pong makuha at ma-access ng ating kababayan ng critical weather advisories. At ang sabi naman din po ng DA, handa po sila sa food security, lalo-lalo na po na okay naman po ang supply ng ating bigas sa kasalukuyan. At maliban po dyan, pati po yung DSWD, sinabi po nila na handa rin po sila sa feeding program. At pati po ang DOH, handa po sila sa programa nila na taob, taktak, tuyo, takip at ang alas 4 kontra mosquito dahil sa panahon po ng tag-ulan, marami pong nagiging sakit dulot ng pagbaha.
Special Communications Office, or PCO, Undersecretary and Palace Press Officer Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine Department of Agriculture, RDA Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel Jr. said 4 agriculture officials part of the Philippine delegation stranded in Israel are now in Jordan. Chu Laurel made a statement as 17 government officials, including mayors, were reportedly stranded after Israel closed its airspace amid missile attacks from Iran. In an ambush interview on the sidelines of a market visit at the Paco Public Market in Manila, Chu Laurel said the officials arrived in Jordan on Tuesday evening and have been in constant communication. He disclosed that initial plans involved land travel to either Egypt or Jordan. Chu Laurel said from Jordan, the stranded officials will fly to Qatar for their flight to Manila. The Agriculture Secretary said the government officials will be arriving on Saturday at around 5 in the morning. He wished that the remaining part of the journey is safe. Earlier, Israel Ambassador to the Philippines Ilan Flus said the 17 officials are part of a Philippine delegation for a study visit on best practices in dairy farming under the Israeli government sponsorship. The officials were supposed to end their official foreign trip on June 20th.
Dateline Malacañang.
In related news, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. said the government is all set for the repatriation of Filipinos from Israel and Iran. In a media interview in Quezon City, President Marcos said the government was able to look for an alternate route to ensure the safe return of the displaced Filipinos from the 2 Middle East countries. President Marcos said the repatriation of affected Filipinos is not mandatory. Despite this, the government continues to monitor their situation and provide assistance to those who want to be repatriated.
Well, I don't know what Tel Aviv is burning, but it's being bombed by Iran and because of the Israeli movement. We of course are watching our nationals both in Israel and in Iran, and as a matter of fact, we have already contacted all our nationals and asked them if they want to be evacuated. Some have asked to be evacuated out of Israel. Some now, nung una sa Iran, ayaw nila munang umalis, pero ngayon meron nang sinasabi na kailangan wala silang natatakot na sila kaya nagpapatulong na makalabas. Ang naging problema natin sa pag-evacuate sa kanila ay dahil sa gera, maraming sarado na airport. Kaya nag-ahanap tayo ng ruta kung saan sila mailabas. But we have been able to do that. And the first batch, in fact, Secretary Dak is already on his way to Jordan, para ma-coordinate niya both the evacuees from Israel and the evacuees from Iran.
According to government data, around 92 overseas Filipinos have so far registered for voluntary repatriation. 82 of them before the April 19 Iranian attacks and 10 more after. President Marcos also acknowledged that the impact of the ongoing Middle East crisis on the prices of oil is a serious problem. He said the government would provide assistance to affected stakeholders.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, the Department of Information and Communications Technology or DICT Assistant Secretary Renato Paraiso is the new Deputy Executive Director of the Cybercrime Investigation Coordinating Center or CICC. In a statement, the CICC said Paraiso took his oath of office at its head office in Quezon City. Paraiso previously served as the spokesperson of the DICT. Before his appointment, the CICC was tasked to lead the government's efforts in addressing cybercrime through high technology capabilities. In particular, the CICC is tasked with working with lawmakers in crafting a new law that would address the spread of disinformation and establish clear criminal liability. The CICC would also continue its work against fake news, online gambling, cyber fraud, and digital exploitation. In a separate statement, Internet watchdog Scam Watch Pilipinas, or SWP, welcomed Paraiso's appointment to the agency. The SWP earlier called on the DICT to appoint a new head for the CICC after DICT Secretary Henry Aguda accepted the courtesy resignation of then Executive Director Alexander Ramos and other DICT executives following his appointment to the post in April.
Dateline Malacañang.
Finally, for Dateline Malacañang, the Maritime Industry Authority, or Marina, has partnered with other government agencies and maritime industry leaders for a landmark study on seafarers' role in the Philippine economy. In a statement, Marina announced the signing of a Memorandum of Agreement, or MOA, between Marina, the Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, the Association of Licensed Manning Agencies, or ALMA, the Associated Marine Officers and Seamen's Union of the Philippines, AMOSUP, and the Center for Research and Communication Foundation Incorporated, or CRC. The study, entitled Overseas Seafarers Industry Profile, Structure, and Impact on the Philippine Economy, seeks to generate data-driven insights to guide the creation of responsive, complementary policies to boost the global competitiveness of Filipino seafarers. Under the agreement, Marina, DMW, and AMOSUP will provide data and information relevant to the study within the scope of their mandate and subject to existing laws and regulations. These may include documentation and certification records as well as insights on deployment trends and challenges. During the MOA signing, Marina Administrator Sonia Malaluan emphasized the importance of the study in developing effective and future-proof policies. She noted that the study would also help Filipino seafarers through exploration of their challenges and opportunities.
Dateline Malacañang.
And that is all for today's Dateline Malacañang for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. This has been Bea Gaza-de Guzman.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.